And we're live. So thank you, Billy, for joining me today.
Not a problem. Greatly appreciate the invite.
Yes, yes. Well, we appreciate you joining. We're sitting here in kind of a South Dakota fall day. It should be, I guess we are in September, but it does feel cooler, and we have the Canadian fires upon us, so it looks a little hazy out there today.
It does. We had some rain earlier this morning down here, and that. Part of me wonders how much more Canada can burn up. As
I
much
know.
smoke as we've had, it's like, you know,
Yeah. It's been a lot. It really has. You're right. Well, and I heard one of my friends, I was walking with her on Sunday or Monday, and she was telling me her son was out in Montana, no, Wyoming, and he was helping out at a camp, and they've had some fires out there too. So who knows? Maybe I shouldn't just accuse Canada. It could be coming. This could be coming from somewhere in Wyoming. Who knows?
right, right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
good. And where are you located, Billy, for those who don't know?
My wife and my daughters and I live down in Viborg, South Dakota.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
about 45 minutes southwest Sioux Falls.
Was I in Viborg? No, I was in Lenox on Sunday. I think you're mutual friends with a friend of mine, Mike
Mike
Woomgarden.
Boomgarden, longtime friends.
Yeah.
Uh, Went to college with two of her brothers, Bill and Jim Anderson, and
Okay.
that, and grew up with that family, 4-H rodeoing and uh, just doing cowboy stuff, and still good friends today.
Yes, yes, yeah. So yeah, so I was down, she had a nice barrel race and she honored one of our guests that had previously been on the podcast, a dear friend of mine, Tammy Watson. And so it was a nice day. It was a nice day, and Mike always does a good job putting on barrel races and just I think if anybody wants to see like what is Christ's love like for people, she's one of those people who, you know, putting on a barrel race is not easy, and let alone like the opinions of everything that could go on, but she just stays calm and sweet and kind and just gives
You,
Jesus love.
you'd never know that woman if that woman has a bad day.
I
I
know.
mean, I agree 100%, and I don't think Mike knows a stranger. You
Right,
know,
right.
I don't think there's a person out there that is a stranger to Mike. Is what I'm trying to say. I mean,
Yeah,
if you've met her once, she has a spirit, a bubbly spirit. Uh,
yeah.
awesome family.
Yes, yeah, yes, very grateful. Okay, so the Viborg area. So tell me a little bit about maybe your growing up. What was that like in terms of your faith and your relationship with Jesus?
It was rough starting out. My mom and dad divorced when I was about 9 years old,
Mhm.
and my dad pretty much raised me. And dad would send me to Sunday school and church, and being a little bit of an outlaw child, I said to my dad one point in time, I said, I go to church or I go to school Monday through Friday. Why do I got to go to school on Sunday also?
Yeah.
And I also said, and you don't go to church.
Mhm.
And Dad's like, well, you got a good point there. And after that, I drifted away. And through that time, horses were a big part of my life.
Mhm.
And our neighbors, I grew up in Parker, and our neighbors were like maybe an eighth mile away, and they were a big part of the Baptist church.
Okay.
And they had this youth program called Awana.
Okay.
And they said, why don't you come along? We play games and and hang out and eat and stuff like that. And I went and I started enjoying it, and um, you know, drifted in and out. Uh, in my youth, I stayed with Awana,
Mhm.
and then got into like I'm gonna say sophomore junior year. I was too old for that, so started falling away. I
Mhm.
still believed in the Lord.
Mhm.
I knew He'd gotten me through a lot of troubling times, uh, struggles. confidence stuff with myself. Um, and then went into college, and Udell Larson was one of our rodeo coaches out at NAU in
Mhm.
Rapid City. And then my college roommate, Dustin Looper, he goes, we have church every Wednesday right after practice. Why don't you join us? And I was like, it dang sure isn't going to hurt anything to, be involved in a positive group and get back with the Lord and hopefully on the right track. And I mean, I I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I drank my fair share in college. I partied.
Yeah.
Um, and Looper, Dustin Looper, he got me there. Udell helped. Nick and Nate Morrison, Dave Morrison, they were big involvement on my journey in with the Lord. And I met my wife spring of my senior year of high school, and she, she grew up in the faith. And I mean, knows stuff and that. And I've been fortunate. This Saturday will be 22 years that we've been married,
Oh,
and she
congratulations.
she helps keep my head on a swivel, so I behave, and that's part of my growing up.
Yeah. Well, so that's interesting. I don't, I think about that a lot with us, with our busy lives, with our kids, and I'm an empty nester now, but it was an invitation. How often do we get busy? And that one invitation was for you as a youth, right? I can't, did you call it Wana? Wana?
Awana.
Awana. That one invitation to Awana that someone offered you that you were able to connect with the Lord. And then another invitation. And how often do we get busy? We do our own things and we don't extend an invitation, or we're scared to. Like, I don't know if Billy's going to want to come, but because someone extended an invitation, you were able to have these connections that you wouldn't otherwise have. And it's important.
Oh,
Hmm.
it's huge, and for me it seemed like there was times where things weren't looking so great. Things were maybe a little I'd say doom and gloom in my life, and I feel that those people were put in my life to sort of grab a hold of me and say, "Hey, get back here."
Yes.
And if I got to send somebody for you, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
I feel what happened. Have I drifted off course since then? Oh yeah. I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm you know we seem
Human.
when things are going good,
Yeah.
we can stay, we start veering off, and then when things are bad, hey, get a reality check.
Yes. Yeah, I think we're human in that nature. I think we all know and desire, but you're right. Sometimes everything's going well, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's not. I need to go back and forth. But he wants to be with us in the good times. He wants to be with sorry, there's a fly in here. In the bad times, he wants to be with us no matter what. So tell me a little bit about, okay, so you met your wife, probably you didn't know at that time because it was high school. You go to college. So how did you guys end up getting married then?
Um, well, we stayed in touch. We stayed dating. We broke up a couple times. I competed on the rodeo team in the calf roping, team roping, bulldogging, but we stayed in touch, and it seemed like we'd break up and then we'd get back together
Hmm.
and go for a while because she grew up in Chancellor, South Dakota, is where she graduated from Lennox,
Okay.
and and we stayed together. It always seemed like something kept drawing us back together.
Hmm.
And in '03 is when we got married, and
Okay.
then yeah, so we met at a FFA dance.
Huh.
That's how we met. Uh,
Yeah.
I knew a couple of the girls that she was with, and yeah, that is
That's
how we met.
okay. So what did you do then after college, after marriage? Well, not after marriage. What you got done with college, you're married. So what did you keep rodeoing or what did you do then?
I kept rodeoing. My sophomore year of college, I went out and worked for Billy Myers.
Okay.
He owns owned the Great Barrel Horse Frenchman's Guy
Yep, yep.
in St. Ange, and Brian Curtis and T. Ridley. We were having a practice session, and we got the bright idea to bulldog untipped steers. And
Uh-huh.
I tripped and fell with one, and uh, ran a torn through my bicep,
Ah,
and I wound up I couldn't ride colts for Billy Myers anymore because I was laid up. So I came back home and got a job, got married, and I stayed competing. I calf roped, team roped, and bulldogged.
okay.
Is where I'm mainly competitive at. And uh, we was having some success, not a ton. Working a 9 to 5
Yeah.
for the highway department and rodeoing on the weekends. And we, my team roping partner, myself, and my wife were making a 4th of July run. And my wife was pregnant with our oldest daughter, Bailey.
Hmm.
And at the time, I was picking up rodeos. Udell Larson gave me my start picking
Hmm.
up rodeos in college, and I was picking up some rodeos for Don and Sandy Buffington, Brad Porch. Uh, I think I think I'd also picked up for Sutton's at a couple 4-H rodeos and stuff, and been out to Corco School. So I was picking up, and we're making the fourth. Going back to my story, we were making the 4th of July run. We'd been to 4 rodeos, and we were at the 5th rodeo that weekend. And spouses, you guys talk, get a plan, stuff like that. And I was laying there, and my wife says to me, she goes, I sure don't mind that you're rodeo, but it sure would be nice if you could guarantee me a check at every rodeo. And I mean,
Yeah.
we were a new couple. I
Yeah.
was 20, gonna, uh, gonna be 25 that summer. My
Yeah.
wife was 24,
Yeah.
and I was like, a young couple starting out, things aren't just easy
No.
cakewalk. You're still
Yeah.
learning. Now you're going to be parents, and
Yes.
and so I went to picking up full time
Okay.
at rodeos plus working my job.
Okay. That's crazy. Yeah, that makes sense. So I can totally, you can totally understand that perspective. And you picked up for over 20 years then?
Yeah, I started picking up in '99 out at college.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I booked. Let's see, this year. If I would have bought my pro card right away, this year would have been 20 years
Wow.
of having my pro card
Wow.
as a pickup man. So.
Yeah, that's incredible. And so, okay, I have a question on the pickup man. So people who don't know what a pickup man does at a rodeo, but if you ever see the horses and they're bucking, then all of a sudden somebody comes, rides along next to them and helps them, the cowboy get off the horse. Really, that's what, in essence, is what you're doing there. And it's like really brave, and you're often like they're going fast, they're trying to keep the cowboy safe, plus the bucking horse safe, right, too. It's all of those types of things, because those bucking horses aren't cheap, and
No,
you don't want to see anybody get hurt, and you don't want to get hurt, and your horses don't want to get hurt. So there's a lot of, it's a high risk, and it's a adrenaline rush, I'm sure, at times,
oh
but
yeah,
it's a lot of strategy. You need to know what you're doing in those
R-
cases.
right, right.
Hmm.
Uh, our goals is pick as a pickup man was to protect the cowboy and to protect the livestock.
Yeah.
Um, that's your goal. For me, I've said a lot of times riding in with the pickup men over the years. I've said, see you on the other side, because I've had three three friends that didn't make it out of the arena.
Wow.
They got killed as pickup men, and I mean, uh, this is my opinion. As a pickup man and our former pickup man, is if you're not willing to lay down your life for that cowboy
Yeah.
uh that's in a wreck, you have no business being in there. Same, the bullfighters, same way. They lay down their lives. They're willing to take a hooking for a guy.
Yeah.
Uh, you gotta, in my opinion, you gotta believe in where you're going.
How did you do that then? Like, okay, like I'm imagining you're riding in, you have someone you're working with that night or that day that doesn't come out. And how do you rationalize that in your mind?
Um, I was fortunate. I never uh, was in the arena with one of my friends when that happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got word after the rodeo, and I mean, uh, you go through the deal. The more you know somebody, the questions you ask is, why.
Right.
Uh, and then you think about it, and um, the good Lord has a purpose for what he is doing with them, and you
Yeah.
try and bring out the best side.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you gotta keep your head clear
Mm-hmm.
so you don't make a mistake or get hurt. And I mean, uh, I've been in three major wrecks as a
Mm-hmm.
pickup man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, I've been TKO'd twice,
What does that mean? TKO'd.
knocked out.
Oh,
Um, uh, one time was on a horse, shagging a bull,
yeah.
and for whatever reason, my horse went to bucking and got me off to the side, and I fell in the wrong spot, and the horse kicked me in the face. The next time was here 4 or 5 years ago. I was picking up a rodeo bareback rider, hung up. Um, he was on the left side of me. I
Mm-hmm.
got the horse snagged with the lariat rope, and I was switching hands. And because it went bare fence, bareback horse, bareback rider, me,
Mm-hmm.
and his legs intertangled with my pickup horse's fronts. I
Mm.
did get him free, but my horse did a somersault and like yard darted me probably 15 feet in front and just knocked me out.
Mm.
Um, yeah, it,
Mm-hmm.
it's uh, one of them deals. Uh,
Yeah. That was that last one in Esteline. Is that what that one was?
the last one was an Esteline, and that's where I split my pelvis.
Yeah.
Uh, I roped a bull at last bull of the night. I roped him, and he was sort of in the corner of that arena. And when I roped him, he took off running. I didn't have a good angle at him,
Yeah.
and so I lost my rope. And I just riding down like I was on a trail ride. And I've told many people this. They said I'm almost embarrassed
Yeah.
because all I was pretty much going to the other end to get a lariat rope so we could get this bull out. And I went to kick my own pickup horse in. And I mean, I'd been riding that horse for, I know, at least 5 years. And he was part of my A team. And I kicked him into a lope and he crow hopped and popped me right in the center.
Oh,
And I thought he just, hit me in my manhood and
yeah.
that. And I bailed off and made it probably 20 feet to the fence, and I couldn't crawl up the fence because if you've ever been to S-Line, they have metal banners
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the east side. So I had to go down about another 20 foot, and I crawled up, and I made it to the top, and I got my left leg over, and my right leg wouldn't come over.
Oh.
And there were some spectators there, and they're like, "Is there anything we can do to help you?" And I said, "Yeah, I can't get my leg across the fence." And they're like, "Well, you just crawled up." And I'm like, I get it, but I my leg's not working, and I help. They helped me lower myself to the ground on the other side of the fence. And meantime, the bull and my horse are running around the arena along with the other pickup
Oh
man.
no.
And The bull was a little hooky. He wasn't like a manhunter or anything like
Yeah.
that, but a bull's a bull.
Yeah.
And uh, when everything happens, you think, did I really just witness this? And my horse the last I knew, had left me and went back to the bucking chutes. And I looked in the arena as I was getting help getting out, and my horse came, and the bull was down there. My horse went between me and the bull. I was in a good spot, and my horse shouldered into that bull by himself and sort of drove him away. And I was like, I've asked several people that were there, and they're like, yeah, that happened. That's legit.
Wow.
And I said, well, the bugger hurt me and sort of protected me too.
Yeah.
He must have felt like he owed me one.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then they got me on a stretcher, got me into the ambulance, and they were like, you. I don't remember blacking out, but they said there was periods of time where I wouldn't talk to them, and I was blacked out.
Mm.
And so they got me in the ambulance. I remember that and getting me cooled off because I was, adrenaline, everything. I was just roasting hot.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked me, what do you want to do? And I'm like, all I did was, hurt my manhood, rack myself. And they're like, no, I don't think you did. And I'm like, well, I need to go to the bathroom. And I stood up and I told them I couldn't go laying down. They stood me up and I went and I looked down and I said, this isn't good. And they go, what? And I showed them and they're like, no, you got blood in your urine. And I
Mm.
was like, okay, maybe a trip to the doctor isn't so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And some friends from up around there, they'd been in contact with my wife and letting her know what was
Mm-hmm.
going on and that. So she knew that I'd been in a wreck.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was standing up, uh, I said I want to do one more test. And they're
Mm-hmm.
like, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to shuffle my hips. And
Mm-hmm.
I just ever so slightly rocked like that. And I felt,
Mm.
and I was like, this ain't good. I must have a dislocated hip. So
Mhm.
uh, I'm like, yeah, you better take me to the, hospital. Cause I was like ready to sign the papers to get out of the ambulance.
Right, right.
And so we're on the way and, uh, Russ Rognus, who is a family friend up there by Astoria, he rode with me. His son team roped with me in 4-H high school and college.
Yeah.
And he goes, Billy, this ain't good. And I said, well, let Becky, my wife's name's Becky.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, let Becky know we're heading to the Brookings Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
If nothing else, I'm going to need help tomorrow saddling horses because we had one more rodeo performance to go. And he goes, I really don't think you're getting back on a horse. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I said, a little bit like this ain't going to hurt me. So
Mm-hmm.
we get in there and we we disputed back and forth whether or not I'd be back in Esteline to pick up. And I was bound and determined that I was. And the lady doctor walked in and she goes, what are you two guys arguing about? Russ goes, this dude here thinks he's getting back on a horse tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
And the lady doctor goes, I don't think so. And I said, ma'am, I've picked up with a broken foot. I've picked up with broken fingers, dislocated knee. I said, I'm not going to let a little hip deter me. I said, and she goes, well, you don't have a dislocated hip. You have a split pelvis. And
Mm.
I go, well, what do they do for that? And she goes, well, it a lot of times requires surgery. And wondering if you can, you know, what hospital you want to go to, whether you want to go to Fargo or to Sioux Falls, because we don't have the capabilities to perform the surgery. And so I went to Sioux Falls and
Wow.
wound up spending about 6 months in a wheelchair. And that that was another thing that really opened my eyes, being in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, the difficulties that you got to figure out how to overcome,
Yes.
and gives you a whole new respect.
Yes.
And so yeah.
So what throughout all of this, what was your faith and your belief like? Because one of the things is like you go through all of this and what you're talking about your life, the job that you had, right, and the passion that you did wasn't always safe. You weren't making coffee for people, right? You were literally putting your life at risk, everything you did. And so talk to me about Christ and what he has meant to you in your life throughout all of this.
Oh, so that night of the wreck, um, from my horse coming back to the other end, you know, they told me that I never should have been able to stand up and make it 20 feet, let alone crawl up a panel and make it
Mm-hmm.
across that panel.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, to me, there's only two things that happened there, and that was God and adrenaline.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, he gives you strength. One of my favorite poems is Footprints,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or you know, where it talks about, there was, in my most difficult times, I only saw one set of footprints, and you left me.
Mm-hmm.
And God goes, no, that is where I carried you.
Yes.
And there has been so many times where he has carried me, uh, got me through all night drives, uh, protected me from stuff that could have really been bad. I
Yes.
mean, uh, they were worried when I split my pelvis about me bleeding out.
Right.
They,
Oh,
you know, uh, especially when they saw the blood. And I mean, uh, it, he, I feel he put me in my job that I love to do, and
yeah.
he protected me.
Yes.
And things, I had a big run set up that year, and I was like, at first I was mad because I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, I got to back out of all these rodeos,
Mm-hmm.
and made a call to the Barnes family. Another buddy came up and finished up that rodeo for me, and I was like, what? Why? This was my year that I want to pick up for 20 years, and
Mm-hmm.
I want to go hard.
Mm-hmm.
Key words were I. I
Yeah.
wanted, and not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily relying on what the good Lord wanted.
Right.
And so things that I thought, you know, it all happened angry that I don't get to do this. My summer is now shot,
Yeah.
for rodeoing, but things that came out of, as I thought about it, things that came out of it were, what else did he protect me from? An all night drive that I knew I was going to have to make a couple times that year, and really crashing and burning.
Yeah.
Um, my daughters, I got to go fishing in the summer with my family,
Yeah.
which is, I'm not a huge fisherman by any means, but
Good.
it was that family time. And, I couldn't get out and go open gates to go check cattle and that. And so I got to grow with my daughters and be around them. It wasn't, hey, we're at the rodeo, spend a little bit of time, or out at the farm. Oh, I'll go take care of that. You don't have to. It made it where if I wanted to go see something, they were with me, and they were my legs.
Yes.
I could still do things with my hands and arms, but from the waist down, I was no, not any help. You
Yeah.
know, um, and had a lot of family and uh, a lot of friends that are family that came and supported me. They had a benefit for me, which you want something that'll humble somebody when you're down and you have people come because they care about you. Uh, it'll sure humble you and
Yeah.
realize how much you are loved
Yes.
and cared about. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's incredible. And I think that's a good point in all of this, right? It's like you had a plan. And often we're trying to say we need to be asking God, what is your plan, right? But what he delivered to you was far, even though you thought this is going to be a horrible 6 months, right? What am I going to do? He delivered you with such grace and such beauty to be able to have this time with your family that you wouldn't have otherwise had. And
right.
for you to see that and recognize it and do it, because you could have literally sat around and been depressed and not gone anywhere. And
And
but yeah,
there were days where I got down the dumps,
yeah,
and friends would call. It always seemed like a friend would call and say, "Hey, how you doing?" And I mean, to me, that's a God thing.
yes,
You don't want to bother your my wife because she was at work.
mhm,
The daughters also have lives going on. You know, um, so it's humbling.
yeah. It's and how appreciative that is, just how loved you feel in that moment. That should encourage all of us, like when we have the opportunity to help in those situations, you're not only just helping, but you're expressing your love and how that person needs to feel that. Like, I can't believe how many people cared and were willing to help me. Yeah,
Right, right.
yeah.
It yeah. And when they had the benefit, got to see who donated stuff
Hmm.
and going through and seeing different things. I mean, there was people that were at the start of my picking up career that I hadn't seen in 15, 20 years that
Mm.
donated. And
Wow.
I mean, it's humbling.
Yes.
And rodeo family is tight.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, uh, and to me, it proved even more how tight it was, and how we live in a small town, and how tight our community is.
Yes.
And rodeos that I've worked for, I mean, Esteline, uh, Cherokee, Marshall are just a few, and I know I'm leaving out, but these are ones that just popped in my head. That came and they're like, "We're here for you.
Yeah.
We got your back."
Yeah.
And it for me, it also lets me know that I made an impression on them.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
And
Sorry
when you
about
think
getting a
about,
little emotional.
oh, I can see. I feel the same. I feel the same way. What, when you think about leaving an impression, what type of person have you tried to be through Christ? Like, when you think about it, when we're all human and I know we all make mistakes. So that's exactly why, like you think about this conversation we're having. Sometimes it's like, should I even have this? I made mistakes today, right? But God is a forgiving God. So I know that we all fall short of his glory. His salvation is renewed every day. But when you think of what you've tried to do for people in your life, what would that look like for you? Or what would you want to have people to say? Too heavy one? You're like, come on, give me a softball.
um, I guess things I hope they would say about me is that um, if you were in a bind or a pinch, Billy would come and help you out. He'd be in your back. You know, he'd do what he could to help you out.
Yeah,
Um, uh, he tried hard. Um, it wasn't always perfect, that's for sure. Uh, but just a humble guy. Uh,
yeah,
that's what I hope they'd say about me.
yeah. That's so beautiful. And just your life and the passion that God put in you early on as a young person, right? The rodeo life. And what a blessing it has been that he was able to provide you for 20 years, being able to do something you love, and to connect with those people and be able to give to those people in the way that, like you said, you're putting your life on the line in order to help your fellow mankind, right? Help this cowboy, help this person out. And just what a generous heart you have to do that, and what a gift what God has given you, and a blessing to be able to do that.
It's fun. You know, I retired last year, and now we're on to the next chapter. I'm
Yeah.
not done with rodeo.
Okay, tell me, what's your next chapter?
We raised a few bucking horses,
Okay.
and we got two out there that I'm pretty proud of right now. All year, they've been Cowboys have been placing on them.
Okay.
Uh, it's that's my next chapter.
Good. Good.
I it's rodeo is my hobby. It's my passion. Um, Getting to hang around. I don't have a big family on my side
Mm-hmm.
of my family. So I get to see my friends, get to see my family, get to help out at rodeos.
Yeah.
Um, still ride a horse a little bit. I got to go back to Esteline last year after my wreck and finish up there, and then the last rodeo that I did any picking up on was where I started in Marshall, Minnesota,
Oh, really?
and I picked up a section of saddle broncs with two really good friends and had fun, and yeah, and so now
I probably
we're
saw
on
you there then. I didn't even know it. Were you there when it rained so bad?
the yeah. This year you're
Yeah.
talking. So
Yeah.
this year, yeah, I was on the grounds this year when the tornado warning went off.
Oh, yeah.
We, being a real smart cowboy, we sat in a horse trailer
Yeah.
and told rodeo stories while it was downpouring, waiting for the rodeo to start, and then went back and yeah, it was the year before that I finished picking up
Okay.
there, but
Okay.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was there.
Yeah. Well, that's where I grew up in Marshall, Minnesota. So yeah.
You probably know a dear friend of mine up there,
Mhm. Yeah.
uh, Gene Shrunk.
Yes, they were our neighbors. Hmm.
Really? Yep.
Yeah. Well, his parents lived we kind of lived on the outside of town. So I know the Shrunks. Yep.
Yep.
Very
Yep.
good people. Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, it's a small world. Look at this. We already have all these connections. That's South Dakota for you. People listening in other states are going to be like, it's like, well, you always know someone, right? Like, there's
Right.
always a connection.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this has been wonderful. Is there anything else you want to share about your journey and about Christ?
Um, Remember, your family is most important.
Yeah.
Um, they're they're going to be there when through the good times, the bad, uh, and you need to be there for them to help cheer them on.
Yeah.
Uh, my family has given so much to me, uh, allowing me to be a pickup man, uh, understanding, supportive. Uh, it it's been a heck of a ride. It's
Yeah.
and look forward to more days.
Yes. And your horses, you'll get to see your horses out there. Okay, before we close in prayer, what are your horses' names? You have two horses
That are
out.
going
Yeah.
been going. The one is a saddle bronc horse. Her name is Her brand is J41 Final Flower.
Forty. Okay.
J41 Final Flower. I own her with Ronnie and Brenda Wilson. She's
Okay.
a 4 year old mare, and we've been hauling her, and hopefully she'll make a couple of the finals this year. The other mare that is J2 Redheaded Stranger uh, is her name, and uh, they and I own her with Dan Owens.
Okay.
is who I own her with, and we've been promoting them and uh, just seeing what the girls can do, and
Yeah.
they've been doing good, and they're yeah.
Do you think now this is off the subject again. Do you think mares make better horses than geldings, or do you see a difference in them? I just wonder if they're a little bit. I'm just wondering. I mean, I ride barrel horses, and I have both geldings and mares, and I was just wondering if they have a little bit more spitfire.
I I picked up on all three: mares,
Yeah.
geldings, and studs.
Okay.
For me, geldings will get lazy on you.
Yeah.
Mares and stud, they got a little bit more PMS, and they got a little more heart and a little more try. So
Yeah.
I'm one of them guys that is a mare man.
Yeah.
I like you know
Yeah.
you know
Okay. I wondered that. Yeah. I don't know. I like my gelding because he's mellow, easy. He could be a little lazy, but it's good. And then and I also so you need to have both.
seeing for me I'm most of everything I have is females.
Oh yeah.
I have three daughters, no sons.
Yeah.
Uh, all but one of my bucking horses is a mare. I do have four saddle horse geldings, and then our cows, our sheep, and our goats. I mean, most of them are all females. So yeah,
Yeah. And I grew up in a house with all boys. I have two boys and a husband. That's three. And then our dogs, we always had a dog's a boy. We have cats are boys. We had one female cat once. Oh, so fun. Well, good. Well, I will close it out in prayer and we'll just give praise and glory to God. So, Jesus, we just give you praise and glory for this conversation. We just thank you for Billy and sharing his testimony and his love for you and the way his life has been intertwined with relationship with you and how we learned that no matter where we are, we can always come back to you. We can always hold on to you. Jesus, we just thank you for that. We also learned about just being invited. We all have this opportunity to invite people and include them in relationship with you, with that's inviting them to a youth event, inviting them to church, or just inviting them in prayer with us, Jesus. We just thank you for that light enlightening that Billy gave us. And we just thank you for family. Most of all, as we sit here at wherever we are in our lives and we look at what we have surrounded with us, family and our friends and those relationships we make through you, Jesus. That's what matters. And we just thank you for that. And we thank you for Billy. And we just give praise over him and his ability to tell his story. We just pray blessing upon him and his horses. We are just asking that Final Flower and the redheaded stranger just excel, just abundantly excel beyond his imaginations, Jesus. You are keeping them safe, you're keeping them protected, and it's just a great adventure that he's going into with them. And we just thank you in advance for that abundant blessing that you're going to give to him and his family as part of that. In your name we pray. Amen.
amen.
Amen. So good. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks for having me on.